crude oil, the energy of industry, is the world's #1 most traded commodity. But that other nugget from the earth, coffee, the fuel of the human energy, is #2. Did you know? So Jason Tesoro here from The Modern Gentleman. We're going to discover coffee with Tall Bike Roastery's roast mistress, Jen Rawlings. Where are you taking us today?
We're going to talk about some coffee methodologies today.
Let's hit it, shall we? The current issue of Sommelier Journal is devoted to coffee. I'm proud that I got a wine magazine to make its cover story about a different berry altogether. So I wanted to find an expert who could walk me through bean all the way to brew method, and let's turn it over to Jen, who's going to walk us through.
Hi. The most important things to remember when brewing coffee is to start with freshly roasted coffee. Major importance. The second thing is to use a really good grinder. You want to use a grinder that crushes the beans between burrs. It doesn't chop like the small Krups grinders. This is an example, this Capresso is a good example of a conical burr grinder. So you can see the sharp edges of the burrs, and the beans are smashed between these two burrs. We also have a scale that we use, a gram scale for weighing our freshly roasted coffee. And on the table you'll also see the Hario pour pot. It allows for really good slow pouring control. Here we have a Chemex, developed by a chemist with its paper filter. Then we have a French press. And then we have a Bodum Santos vacuum pot.
So for the first method, we're going classic, French press. We're going to turn it over to Elliot Lau. He's Tall Bike Coffee Roastery's account and development. Hello, Elliot. I've got a little marmalade blue in my hand. Actually, before we brew it up, Jen, tell me a little bit about this coffee.
The Modern Gentleman gifted this coffee from Haiti to us. It's the Marmalade Blue, and it is trying to revive the coffee industry for Haiti, which would be great for their recovery, their economic recovery. I roasted a cupping batch, 5 pounds at a medium city, and then I also roasted at a full city, which we are going to be using today for our brewing.
Excellent. Our
first
batch.
time.
Yeah.
First time. The maiden batch.
Virgin beans. So let's turn over the French press to Elliot. We'll provide color commentary over here.
We're starting with a 32-ounce French press. Our dose is going to be 54 grams of coffee. That is about 1.6 grams of coffee per ounce of finished product. We like to weigh in grams because it's a bit more precise than the ounces. Transfer the beans into the grinder. Make sure it's adjusted for coarse. Bring our water to a rolling boil. After our water comes to a boil, we preheat our French press, making sure we're not losing any heat once the coffee begins to steep. Now we want our coffee temp to be about 195 to 205 degrees, and that's about 45 seconds off a rolling boil, which you see we just had. We transfer our grounds into the French press, even them out, and then we pour, making sure to saturate all of the grounds. You'll see it getting bubbly at the top. That's the beans releasing carbon dioxide and blooming. Bring it almost up to the rim, but not quite. Start a timer for 4 minutes, and after 30 seconds, we're going to break down the bloom with the rest of the water. The blooming on the coffee is proof that it's fresh. So you break down the bloom. You can do this with water or a spoon. If you do it with water, you want to be very careful not to overfill your French press. And once you have topped it off, place on your lid and plunger and submerge the grounds just underneath. And then we wait for another 3 minutes. And once the timer goes off, we plunge. Now, we want to put a steady amount of pressure, but not too much where it pushes the coffee over the top of the French press. If it gives you any resistance, feel free to pull back a little and push down some more. All right, press and immediately serve. If you don't have enough guests or family members to serve the entire French press to, transfer your coffee into a thermal carafe or something like that to prevent over extraction because of the coffee running back down through the grounds. Cheers.
So let's recap. For the proper ratio, remember 1 to 17. That's 1 part coffee per 17 parts of water. We'll do the math for you. 1 ounce equals 28.35 grams. Therefore, 1.67 grams per ounce of water is the proper ratio. In a 32-ounce French press, or 907 grams, we'll need 54 grams of coffee at a coarse grind. Take the kettle off the boil, so it's about 195 to 205 degrees Fahrenheit, and preheat your press. Use 4 minutes of extraction time, and remember to separate the coffee from the grinds to prevent over extraction.
Black coffee.